Hi, my name is Lena, welcome to my channel, and I'd like to share my thoughts on the last fourth part of Grettir the Strong saga, starting with the chapter 71. So Grettir and Illugi are on an island where they can safely wait for Grettir's outlawry to expire. When he is outlaw for 20 years, the sentence of outlawry expires. So, and he has some year, maybe less, to wait, but he cannot stay put. He leaves the island and takes part in a wrestling competition. Then he swims to mainland some sea mile to get fire when the fire extinguished. So Grettir cannot stay put, but he always manages get off the island and get on the island safely. Meanwhile, Torbjorn Engel gets a large part of the island at a small price because other bondies, small bondies, they lost hope that Grettir will ever leave the island. So Torbjorn Engel owns a big part of the island, but this land is of no use to him because Grettir won't leave the island and he won't allow anybody to get to the island. This ladder, the only ladder by which the island can be reached, is always drawn in. At first, Torbjorn tries to talk to Grettir, but Grettir laughs at him. Then, when Torbjorn sails to the island for the second time, he brings with him a hiring, a person who can scale any cliff. And while Torbjorn distracts Grettir, this hiring scales up the cliff and he gets on the island, and he always almost manages to attack Grettir and Illugi from behind unexpectedly with a battle axe. But he loses his nerve and he tries to get away from Illugi. Illugi pursues him and he breaks his neck. When Torbjorn Engel sails to the island for the third time, he brings with him his foster mother, who is a skillful witch and a very old woman. And this foster mother curses Grettir and Illugi. And Grettir hears the curse and he throws a stone at her and breaks her thigh. When she is able to walk again, she uses runes and her own blood, and she puts a spell on a log. Then this log is pushed into the sea, and it swims against the current and against the wind to the island. And later on, when Grettir tries to hack it for firewood, his axe glances off it and cuts into his own leg to the bone. And the wound never heals, it festers instead. So Grettir is very, very ill. So when once again Torbjorn Engel sails to the island with a large band of men, the ladder is not drawn in. Grettir is very ill. Illugi is always by his side, by his bedside, and their servant, their thrall, is too lazy. He thinks that nobody would nobody would come in such a bad weather, and he doesn't draw in the ladder. So Torbjorn Engel and his men manages to get to the island, but they are unable to get into Grettir's dwelling because Illugi and Grettir defend their dwelling. Even though Grettir cannot stand on his feet, he is fighting from his knees. He is fighting standing on his knees. So this man, they get to Grettir and Illugi through the roof. And they overpower Illugi, and for some time they keep hacking at Grettir with their swords, even though Grettir is thought to be already dead. His leg killed him, his wound killed him. Then Torbjorn wants to have Grettir's sword, but he cannot get it because Grettir still holds on to it fast. So Torbjorn Angle, he cuts off Grettir's arm, Grettir's hand, and gets this sword. And with this sword, with Grettir's own sword, he cuts off Grettir's head. But everybody knows that Grettir was killed by witchcraft, and Torbjorn is thought to be a dishonorable man because of that. And Thorir of Guard refuses to pay the money he put on Grettir's head. This grieving father, he refuses to pay for Grettir's head because Grettir was killed by witchcraft. And Torbjorn decides that he is entitled to lands that used to belong to Grettir and that Illugi inherited. So he is entitled, in his own opinion, to the lands that Illugi owned. And he comes to Asdis after killing both of her sons, and he brings Grettir's head with him. But Asdis is a very strong-willed, very brave woman, and she reminded me of Cornelia Kraki. And she calls Torbjorn a swine, and she says that he wouldn't be so bold if Grettir was in good health and was there. Now, when Grettir is dead, Asdis has a lot of supporters. Some of them are very powerful people, and Torbjorn has to leave. After some time, he is exiled from Iceland. He goes to Norway for a time, but he is afraid to stay in Norway because he knows that Grettir had relatives there, a half brother. So he leaves Norway and goes to Constantinople. But Grettir's half-brother Thorstein follows him to Constantinople and kills him there with Grettir's own sword. But people are different in Constantinople. They are not like the Norwegians and the Icelanders. They have different laws and different customs. So for this killing, which is honorable in Norway and Iceland, Thorstein is arrested and he is in prison, and he awaits a death sentence. So he awaits his own death. But he has a very good singing voice, and he amuses himself and his fellow prisoner, his new friend, by singing songs. And a rich woman, highborn woman, hears him sing, and she likes the singing, and she pays a ransom for him and his new friend. She's married, but they fell in love, they have an affair. Her husband tries to catch them many times but fails, but still he accuses her of infidelity which can lead to her death if it's proved that she was unfaithful to him. But Thorstein and she, with the help of Harald Hardrada, managed to fool everybody, fool the husband, fool all the people, and she is able to make an oath in the church without offending the god, without lying to the god, but fooling all the people. They even managed to get the divorce for the lady. Thorstein marries her and they go back to Norway and have 3 kids, and those children become very prominent figures in Norway. Then when Thorstein is about 67, I guess, they both decide to go to Rome to seek absolution from their sins, and then they live separately their lives. I know the author probably didn't mean it like that, but I find it amusing that they decided to go to Rome when Harald Hardrada was the sole king of Norway. We read a saga about him a while back, several years back, and he was a very difficult king to be around, and he was especially hard on his friends. And so I find it amusing that his friend Thorstein wants to go to Rome while Harald Hardrada is the sole king of Norway. I really liked this saga. I enjoyed it very much. Of course, it has a very strange ending, finishing with a story that reminded me a lot of Decameron by Boccaccio or the Canterbury Tales. I enjoyed it very much, and this time I read lots of supporting, I guess, literature. It reminded me, I read Beowulf, then it reminded me of, the saga reminded me of Haji Murad by Tolstoy, and I read Haji Murad by Tolstoy. Then it reminded me of Cornelia Gracchi, and I read biographies both of Tiberius Gracchi and Guy Gracchi by Plutarch. It reminded me of Decameron and the Canterbury Tales, but I didn't read them yet. But I am tempted to reread the Canterbury Tales. And I enjoyed this reading very, very much. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and happy reading.